Again to South Africa now, where a farmer and two of his employees are in court today accused of shooting dead two black women and feeding their bodies to pigs. The killings took place when the women trespassed on a farm in the northern province of Limpopo in August of last year. Well, the killings caused widespread outrage in South Africa and exacerbated racial tensions there. One of the three suspects has now become a state witness. And that means he will testify against his co-accused in exchange for having the charges against him dropped. Well, our correspondent Nomsa Maseko is outside the court in Polokwane.
The incident actually took place in August last year when two women, Maria Makhatu and Kudzai Ndlovu, and one more victim, actually went to a pig farm where there were dairy products that had just been delivered. Those are soon to expire or expired dairy products that were brought for the pigs and on the farm. And the three victims then actually went into the farm, and that's where they met their untimely death. They were allegedly shot and killed by the farm owner and then thrown in the pig enclosure in an apparent effort to have evidence of this killing to basically be dealt away with.
And also, just talk us through then, as I mentioned in the introduction, the wider significance of this case. It's being watched across South Africa, I know, but it has inflamed racial tensions.
Absolutely, it has inflamed racial tensions in a country where a small number of white farmers claim to be persecuted by the black majority. We saw some of them, less than 50, going to the US as saying that they had been persecuted and they no longer are safe in South Africa. But in this case, we are talking about a white farmer who allegedly murdered two black women, and that is why there are so much, there's so much racial tensions when it comes to the story. And also, it's a story that has attracted a lot of attention, not just in the media, but also political parties here in South Africa and civil rights organizations have also been up in arms, because of such cases. And this is not the first case of its kind where a white farmer has been accused of killing black people.
Nomsa Maseko reporting there.
Beware of day trading options. It's one of the...
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to your other elders and brethren, you fellow believers of the truth. Shalom to you, few sisters. Shalom to the elect. So, anyway, I don't know much about this story except what I see. The WHYTE, Judah Tribe 69, that brother sent me this clip, right? A follower of GMS. And this woman, the farmer, fed the woman to the pigs, as you see. The one guy looks like he may have some complexion, but that doesn't mean you're an Israelite. Right, this guy right here. And the news, they jump right on these stories because it's controversial. But it's kind of crazy that we keep continuing down the same road, down the same path. And it always seems that no matter how much we're oppressed, no matter how much things happen to us as a people, we still march and want to be equal or be treated like we're human beings, right? When we truly are human beings, right? We continue to try to seek acceptance and validation for a people from the beginning who has destroyed you. I had a Pakistani woman come up to me today and said an old white man came up to her slurring racist remarks, right? I don't know if she was an Eve or not. She looks Pakistani, heathen. And she said, it's the root core of them. This is who they are. They're evil and they're wicked. Yeah, you see this now, but these same evil and wicked people used you other nations also to have a hand in our slavery. And for that, Jeremiah 30:16 says, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and every one of them shall go into captivity. And it's Esau. This man, he has different tribes as well. You know, you have the Dukes of Edom, right? You have different tribes of Edom. You know what I'm saying? And these people have done nothing righteous by us. We can read a ton of scriptures. Habakkuk 2. I'll get that real quick, but first let's get this. I don't know who these women are. They look like Israelites. Jeremiah 4:30. When thou art spoiled, what will thou do? Though thou clotheth thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments and gold, though thou rentest thy face with paintings, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers shall despise thee, they shall seek thy life. And this is exactly what they did, right? Their lovers despised them. This is who they upheld. And make no mistake, this is all revolved around Christianity. We as people, right, subscribe to Christianity, and the oppressors have always told us to love your enemy, love your neighbor, love every damn body. Oh, except yourselves. You notice they don't push that love doctrine in our community where there's high levels of genocide. You notice that, right? Yeah, they won't do that. Anyway, let's do a quick navigation. This is a little easier to navigate. If you notice, this is the mindset of them, right? They're so quick to push peace, love, prosperity, set these black preachers up, and they do the same thing over and over. And the whole time, we're totally being destroyed as a people, as a nation. And this is all a curse from the Heavenly Father. And this is what we've always tried to do, get these people to love us and respect us. But you know how it go. We keep seeking validations. Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Now you think they got down in Africa, named after Scipio Africanus, who enlargeth his desire as hell and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all peoples. Let's go to some AI and the things that they've done to try to erase history. Reports of white racists using black infants as alligator bait are part of a deeply disturbing history rooted in racial prejudice and dehumanization of African Americans in the United States. While some sources suggest this was prevalent practice during the era of slavery and later, during the Jim Crow era, there is debate about its widespread occurrence. You see how wild that is? They literally hung infants on trees, right? They castrated men and set men on fire. And they done everything that's inhumane to a race or nationality of people. And to say, well, we don't believe they use alligator bait, right? Or the Native Americans, we cut the babies out of their stomachs and that's where we get soccer from. We know they're not going to say anything about that. And the judges pass laws, the courts pass laws that they're not to do it, but they continue to do it. Yeah, just like they passed laws on the U.S. Constellation was supposed to stop slave ships, but really they were stopping pirators from illegally bringing slaves in. Why it was legal to bring slaves in. But although slavery has ended in around 1830, from what I can remember, somehow the slave ships were still rolling in past far up to the 1860s and even the early 1900s. See, this wickedness and evilness pretty much points to the fact that these people do whatever they want to do and tell you to love them. This is what they do. love everybody, love your neighbor. Christianity is the worst thing that ever happened to us, man, as a people. We're not saying go out and hunt people down and hurt people. We're saying to call on our Lord. And even saying that, they still deem us as a hate group, although all the true haters of the planet are still practicing Ezekiel 9:4 over in those other lands, and even in this country, going and bombing other countries. This place still does it. Cops still blowing Jake away. You know what I'm saying? And let's not go into the poisons and everything else that has happened in eugenics. Let's not even go into that. You know what I'm saying? How the whole agenda is have these men wear tight ass pants so they could kill their sperm. I don't know. That's what they call. I forgot what they call that, but that's something that they feel is far fetched and may not be true. But we could see conspiracy theory. You know, I mean, come on. Anything you can imagine that these people think of. Well, just like Exodus 2. This is how we know we're the children of Israel. When he said, put the men to work, and then we multiplied. So they revamped it now, and then they said, well, put the woman to work. And it worked. Gave them money, put them up on high, disproportionated the money, gave them money, higher wages for jobs that they don't deserve, and gave the men lesser wages for money that they should have had. But this is how it go. And Ezekiel 9 say we sigh and cry for the abominations, and we still are. But see, this is all judgment. 1 Peter 4:17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. Right? And if it begin at us, what shall it be the end of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh? By Hashem Yahushua, right? By the law, even of the Bible, if people set food out, you're supposed to be able to go get that food. See, this place claim they know the Bible. Even in Africa, that's the highest level of Christianity and Islam. Believe it or not. I'm willing to bet on both sides they're both Christians. I'm willing to bet that. I can't prove it that they're Christians. Yeah. I'm not going to make this a long video. Deuteronomy 28:19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. You know, the children of Israel is cursed all over the planet. No matter where we're at, we're cursed. Now, these people literally killed these women and fed them to pigs. And then you would think that the so-called black woman in America who bound together to come against their own men will have a lot to say about white men. But they don't. They seem like they have so much hatred towards us, but when Esau does things, they'll still marry him. These men have the capability, Edomites, they have the capability to feed you to alligators and hang you on trees and feed you to pigs, and you will still marry him. Good luck. That's why I read Jeremiah 30. That's exactly why I read Jeremiah 30. Let me go back there again if I got it up. I don't think I have it up. Nope. But that's exactly why I read it. Jeremiah 30. Oh, Jeremiah 4, Salakia, 31. For I have heard the voice of the women in travail and in anguish, as if her that bringeth forth her first child. The voice of the daughters of Zion that bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hands, saying, Woe is me now, for my soul is wearied because of murderers. So we can see that all the information is there. All the history is there. They always say if you forget your history, you're bound to repeat it. But this is what they do. Through all the social media, you know, all the distractions, through all the makeup that you put on your face, which leaks into your pores and allegedly causes cancers. I can't say it to be true because of the nature of the video, but you look up the facts. As a brother pointed out, they've done autopsies on women, and they've seen the gel on their brain from the those relaxers. Everything that hits the skin goes through the liver, goes through the pores, goes through the neurological system, the circulatory system. So we've been targeted in many different factions, from our food, from our devices, from what we put on our skin, from what we put in our head. This is like a war, right? And you Jakes don't even see it. In fact, we all are a target of this war, from the rap music to the R&B music now, and the gangster rap, the thugging, the genocide. And these same people who promote this killing, same people who promote this killing, you accept. My whole point is, these men can feed women to pigs. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if it was men that would make such a big drama from it, but these Edomites have managed to make a new form of racism, right? From us against one another, man and woman. Yeah, women go out and do something crazy, they don't get no time for that. They rarely get charged. But you, as a black man, oh yeah, you getting charged or shot. So when you women complain about how hard it is, it's my blackness and my skin, us men go through hundreds of times worse. Believe it or not, we work the hardest and get paid the less, right? We have so many expectations to be what it is to be a man. And that's why we as men in the Lord, we just rely on the scriptures. The hell with the rest of the world. Because if you get caught up in the rest of the world, you will not be productive. You know what I'm saying? You will always chase. You will always look stupid. You know? And you women that are in the truth, these are examples for you to see of what it means to try to be righteous as a woman. I say try to the best of your ability. Because this is just a small example of what's going to come. It's going to get worse. And then these women ain't going to have protection. And that's why Isaiah 4:1 says 7 women shall take hold of one man. And her husband got shot too. Now imagine if he wasn't strong enough to survive that, and he never said anything. Nobody would know what happened to these women. It's because the husband went back and told what happened, right? Which me personally, I'd have went back and got what I needed to get and came back on them. You know, I didn't deal with that another way. I'm not telling everybody else to do that, but I know how I would have dealt with it, you know. But then as a man, he probably followed them and they went in there. You know, who knows? Or maybe he the one went in there. You know, you just can't go on anybody's property now, man. I mean, that's in Africa. I don't know nothing about Africa, but you can't do that. You might have got away with it here, but damn sure not in Africa. Anyway, my whole point is Christianity is a whole big part of this. If they knew who their enemy was, they would have never went up in there in the first place. Anyway, that's all I have on that. I think so. Yeah, that's all I pretty much have on that. Let me read this last one. I think I read this in the last video. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. Right? Hunger, thirst, and nakedness. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck till he have destroyed thee. He literally put bullets in them, man. And then literally fed them to the pigs. And then hear you Christians talk about, oh yeah, God's laws, that was done away with. You now can eat pigs. He declared all food clean. You Christians are the phoniest sons of bitches on the planet, right? If pigs is willing to eat human flesh, why the hell would you eat it? It wasn't just a ceremonial thing. It was because of your damn health. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.